All the little girl did was pick up a piece of meat with her chopsticks, but the moment she did, she glanced nervously at her grandmother. Seeing this, her mother urged her to eat quickly. Only then did the girl slowly move her chopsticks toward the bowl. But her grandmother slammed her chopsticks down and warned her not to forget the family rules. The mother, confused, asked what rules she was talking about. Fighting back tears, the little girl explained that her grandmother said girls were worthless money pits who only wasted food. She'd rarely had enough to eat, and had never once tasted meat or eggs. Hearing that, the mother was furious. Her daughter didn't even get enough to eat? Meanwhile, her two sons were devouring their food like wolves, and even her eldest daughter-in-law was eating freely, with no concern for grandma's mood. Looking at their disgusting faces, the woman finally snapped. She flipped the table without hesitation. Everyone was stunned. No one had expected this quiet, submissive woman to explode like this. Her husband, shocked, cursed at her and called her crazy. But her sudden defiance had been building for a long time, because in her past life, she had spent all her energy serving this family. The only one who truly cared for her was her daughter. Yet that daughter was sold off to marry a mentally challenged man. Her two ungrateful sons only cared about the family property. And when she refused to hand over the heirloom jade bracelets, they watched coldly as she starved to death. Maybe heaven took pity on her, because she woke up 8 years earlier. This time, watching her daughter weep beside her, she swore to give her a better life. She immediately called the matchmaker to her house, and in front of her mother-in-law, refused the arranged marriage for her daughter. She even demanded her mother-in-law return the bride price. When the old woman refused, she picked up a broom and threatened to beat her. The old woman ran off, terrified, and eventually coughed up the money. But ever since then, she'd been holding a grudge. That's why she took it out on her granddaughter at the dinner table. Seeing her daughter insulted again, the woman lost it and flipped the table a second time, fully embracing her rebellion. Her mother-in-law shrieked in shock, while her eldest son accused her of ruining the arranged marriage and costing them money. At those words, she remembered her previous life. That same son choking her, demanding the jade bracelet. Without hesitation, she slapped him across the face. Finally, she let out all the pain and resentment she'd bottled up over the years. She declared that she would no longer do a single chore for this family. Then she took her daughter by the hand and left. The daughter-in-law wasn't having it. She called her husband home and suggested they split the household property. But her husband hesitated, unsure. Frustrated, the daughter-in-law stormed outside, only to see her mother-in-law steaming eggs for her younger daughter. Fuming, the daughter-in-law stomped her feet in anger. Meanwhile, the woman saw her and casually mentioned to her daughter where grandma's secret treasures were hidden. The daughter-in-law overheard and took the bait. She began bending over backwards to please the old woman, hoping for a reward. While the woman enjoyed her peace and quiet, the eldest son started complaining she no longer did his laundry. She slapped him again. Shocked, he asked what was wrong with her. But the woman had a plan. She told him the family pig could fetch a high price. Instantly, his eyes lit up. He could finally afford a bride. Pretending to be helpful, she told him to butter up grandma, who had plenty of secret stashed cash. She added that if he didn't act fast, the second daughter-in-law might trick grandma and take it all. That night at dinner, the eldest son glared at his brother's wife like she was the enemy. He finally burst out. Why wasn't grandma giving him money? Was she planning to leave everything to